Well, welcome back to the program. We want to begin with the latest inflation figures, and we understand that inflation has dropped further to 12.1% in the month of June. This is according to the Statistical Service. It says it's the lowest rate since December 2013. The rate represents 0.5 percentage points compared with the 12.6% recorded in the previous month of May. Here's acting government statistician Bawade outlining the factors that accounted for the decline.
Inflation measures the change in general price levels of goods and services. The rate declined from 12.6% in the month of May to 12.1% in June. According to acting government statistician Bawade, the main drivers of the reduction were petroleum prices and some food commodities.
It is measured in two ways: the annual or year-on-year inflation rate, which measures the change in the average price level over a 12-month period, and the monthly change rate, which measures the change in the average price level between the current month and the previous month. The annual inflation rate for June 2017 was 12.1%. This means that the change in the general price level was 12.1% over the one-year period from June 2016 to June 2017. The year-on-year inflation rate for May 2017 was 12.6%. The monthly change rate for June 2017 was 0.9%. This means that the general price level went up by 0.9% between May 2017 and June 2017. The monthly change rate recorded for May 2017 was 0.7%. Now I want to look at the Consumer Price Index for the period March to June 2017. For this series of the Consumer Price Index, we have the year 2012 as the base year, and it has a value of 100.
Meanwhile, the Upper East region recorded the lowest rate of 8.6%, while the Upper West had the highest rate of 13.1% in the month under review.
We mentioned that Upper West region recorded the highest combined inflation rate in June 2017. And 7 commodity groups recorded inflation rates that were higher than the regional average of 13.1%. These were transport with a rate of 36.0%, furnishings, household equipment, and routine maintenance a rate of 19.3%, clothing and footwear a rate of 18.2%, miscellaneous goods and services a rate of 17.3%, recreation and culture 16.2%, health 15.8%, and communications 14.8%.
Aside from the Upper West region, 4 other regions, including Greater Accra, Bonahafo, Ashanti, and Western, recorded inflation rates higher than the national average of 12.1% in June.
This year's West Africa Fertilizer Agribusiness Conference has been held in Accra. Among topics discussed include how farmers can obtain affordable fertilizers, as well as exploring ways of improving investments in the agribusiness value chain.
The West Africa Fertilizer Summit is currently underway at the Mövenpick Hotel. And this particular summit has brought together various stakeholders to discuss fertilizer trade as well as ways to improve investment in the agribusiness value chain. Over 200 international participants were present at the 2017 West African Fertilizer Agribusiness Conference. Among others, they discussed how farmers can obtain fertilizer at the right prices, as well as explore ways of improving investment in the agribusiness value chain. Speaking to Joy Business, country manager for the Africa Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership said government must improve upon infrastructure development to help drive down the cost of fertilizer.
There are a lot of things that contribute to the price, but what we can do as a country is to provide the right environment for the fertilizer to get to the farmers. Again, you look at around this time during the rainy season, that's where they distribute fertilizer. That's wrong. the fertilizer should go before the rain starts because we don't have good roads. So if you wait till the rain starts and you are sending the fertilizer to Tumu, then you're going to have a lot of problems. The fertilizer will not get to the farmers on time. If you don't use the fertilizer on time, you delay 2-3 days, it's going to also affect the yield. So there are so many factors that goes on to make sure that we get the fertilizer at the right price and the farmers apply and get the right output and be able to sell. If the farmer gets the yield goes up and the farmer is able to use it, get more money, the farmer will put more money into the use of fertilizer.
On his part, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, William Kwetu, assured that plans were in place to improve infrastructure development to achieve better distribution channels.
Ghana has also laid out ambitious plans to invest in infrastructure, which is key in the ease of business and especially so for the fertilizer industry to be able to ship its products across the continent and right to the farmer's door. According to an insight by PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ghana needs to grow its infrastructure and capital project financing by 8% every year to reach $12 billion in new financing for the next 10 years, 2025. We look forward to the African Development Bank, which is represented here, as well as the World Bank, investing in our rail infrastructure to move fertilizer and other commodities from Tema Port to inland port.
The conference is a 3-day event organized by Commodities Research Unit and the Africa Fertilizer Agribusiness Partnership.
There have been some reports that several fruit juice processing factories in the country are collapsing and currently operating under 10% capacity. Following this report, we took to the streets to sample the views of a section of the public on the preferences of Ghanaians when it comes to fruit juice brands.
Local one, because the foreign one is different.
Local fruit juice, I tried one back in uni. It was a good product.
Personally, I would like the locally juice to take for my own health.
I would rather prefer buying my own juice, fruits, and making my own smoothies. So if I want a banana and pineapple smoothie, I buy banana and pineapple and just blend it up.
I've tasted a variety of ones produced outside and I feel it tastes better than the ones produced here. The ones produced here, I'm not sure what it's made of. I'm not really confident with the product, so I feel I'm more confident with the foreign ones.
And the local one, it comes with, you feel the fruit in it, and it's very thick than the foreign one.
Natural, and probably maybe you can even see how it is being extracted. Just like even somewhere here we have sugarcane juice. Do you understand? So being there and seeing how it is being made will also give you the appetite for you to, probably purchase it and buy and take for your consumption. But imported fruit juice, probably you don't know the kind of preservatives or whatever that the process it have undergone. Although it's important here, although the government have also looked into it before they allow it to be in the country.
I really do not know where they get their fruits from and how quality they are. So I'd rather buy them locally and just go and blend it in my house.
Could the issue of the cost be also a factor?
That is definitely a factor, but then the most important factor here is the quality.
Importing it will cost a lot, so I think locally we should patronize in the locally made one.
There are other foreign products that are competing. I won't blame the local markets because the local markets has to deal with everything from the scratch. So they have to get fruits, they have to get it processed and everything. So if there could be something that would be done to help the local market so they can compete with the foreign products, it won't be bad because there are local fruit juices that are doing extremely well down here. But I won't blame the importers too because Ghanaians have been trained with the taste of foreign products are so good and all that.
Turning to one of our top stories tonight, the Ashanti Regional Office of the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, MASLOC, has impounded vehicles and other property from its loan defaulters. Among them are 12 taxi cabs and over 20 tricycles seized from people who received financial support from the scheme 5 years ago. Officials say the recovery exercise has so far increased its revenue. Prince Apia reports.
12 taxi cabs and over 20 tricycles are among the seized items from people who received support from the scheme 5 years ago. Maslock officials say wrong addresses provided by some beneficiaries are making the recovery exercise difficult. Ashanti Regional Manager Haja Zainab Saleo says the office is determined to trace all defaulters to honor their commitments.
We have a number of cars disbursed in Ashanti region, some data since 2011 up to date, and frankly speaking, they are not being paid. We have some since they collected since 2012, they've not been paid one person. And we have the TVS that they start disbursement since March till November, up to date, they're not paying. March 2016, last year, that one too, the class are not paying. We have the TVS. That is what, as of now, we are depending on March as our recovery. That one, because it's new, it was disbursed in some in June 2016, some November 2016. So that is currently what is giving us recovery. That one, because it's new in town and people are patronizing it, the clan, if you change them, they'll come and pay the outstanding balance and pay, start paying the repayment. Apart from that, as for the cars, they're not paying. But some are willing to pay. We give them 6 months because the data have already expired. All the loans in system from Ashanti region, all of them did have expired. All of them.
What is the challenge they tell them?
It's not easy. It's not easy. As at now, the problem we are having is the tricycle. According to some of them, that they didn't know that they are supposed to pay. I don't know how they were able to get this tricycle. Some are complaining, and it was given to them during the campaign time. They didn't know they were supposed to pay. But one thing amazed me that they were able to fill forms, put in their passport pictures, bring up guarantor. If somebody is dashing you something, you will not pass through all these formalities. But I know that some of them, because they can't afford to pay, that's why they are trying to just make story that they are not supposed. They didn't know aware that they are supposed to pay.
Meanwhile, some beneficiaries are reported to be rebranding and selling Maslock property. Haja Saleo says the scheme is working with police to arrest offenders.
I don't know how this thing were disbursed to them. They know that it was free. So when we try to call them, to sit down with them, see how they can go about the repayment, they start changing the colors, they start changing the numbers and the rest. The economists, especially the TVS, we bound into one that it was from the Western region. That was given to one person. I don't want to mention his name. I think he's popularly known in the Western region. That property cost 13,600. That is a tricycle. And the person bought it from Western region to sell it in Ashanti region at 2,800. People are reselling it. And out of ignorance, people are buying it. But it's just a problem. We have to deal with it. And the taxis too, you know, normally Maslock items, you normally write Maslock on it. They are trying to just change the colors. We have a lot. If you go to RCC, we park some at the Jusu police station that the person tried to change the identity of the property. That's what is going on currently.
Prince Apia reporting.
You're watching Business Live. Quick break. We're back with the Joy Business Van. Welcome back. Now imagine this, being able to contact your doctor for medical attention without having to step foot at the hospital. Well, that is the innovation tech startup Doctor Group Limited is introducing in Ghana with their Dr. Ghana app. The Joy Business Van today meets with the co-founders who are hoping to open a new page for healthcare delivery in Ghana.
Okay, but you haven't taken any medicines yourself, I hope. Just a painkiller. Okay, so that's okay. But you don't have any, you are not vomiting, you don't have any stomach pains, no diarrhea.
For a doctor who's looking for an easy way to reach out to her patients, the Dr. Ghana app works perfectly for Dr. Nash Levanderpoy. The app was developed by 3 tech startups, Cedric Fuje, Serge Zeppa, and Kojo Sefa. Cedric conceived the idea a couple of years ago, but he had nursed a passion for quality healthcare and technology from childhood.
I grew up with a mom that was always sick. She had a debilitating disease, so she couldn't complete school, she couldn't work. And so I knew the importance of good health to somebody's future. And so I always knew I wanted to be in healthcare. But of course, I started growing up, I developed an affinity for technology. And I knew that for me to be able to do what I want to do and scale it, I need technology.
Cedric shared his idea of a doctor app with two college friends, Serge and Kojo, and they got on board almost immediately.
Right, immediately what I thought was, in my mind, anybody can make money. There's multiple ways of making money out there. However, when you can make a difference at the same time, that for me was the point where I was like, back home in our continent, it's a real issue, all right, that we can improve the lives of millions of people by, kind of using this technology to, help out with our patient to doctor ratio and all that kind of stuff. So for me, that was the catalyst to being like, whatever it takes, this has to work.
Poised to make an impact on the continent, the trio, who were in the United States, needed to take a decision on which country to begin from. Pretty dicey a decision for Cedric and Serge, both Cameroonian and Kojo Ghanaian. They would eventually settle on Ghana.
Ghana has a growing population. We have a lot of young people. And the good thing is I went to college here. I went to the University of Ghana, so I know how people are picking up on smartphones and all of that. And looking at the dynamics of the business world, everything is going digital. And Ghana is really moving up quick to that side of the business world.
And it is true. Ghanaians are ranked amongst the highest mobile app users on the continent. It was a good place to test this innovation. It took 2 years to develop the Dr. Ghana app.
Here's the interface of the app. So you see it's a very simple and beautiful design. To request an appointment is very easy. So you just click on the blue button right here. And then this legal disclaimer just says, if you're dying, go straight to the hospital. But for our purposes here, you would just click no. And then here you simply select your date, okay? And then your primary concern, let's say diarrhea. And then you click on find to find what doctor that you want to have your appointment with. And then you can just select your time. So let's say we're selecting 2:45 p.m. And then that's about it.
The app was officially launched in June this year. Hundreds of Ghanaians already signed onto it and are able to access healthcare for a fee. That is how the startup makes money. Not only is it convenient for users, doctors like Nash Levanderpoy believe it's the future of healthcare delivery.
It will take time, but I think at least in the urban cities where people tend to be very busy, and don't want to go and join long queues in the hospitals, but at the same time, are well educated enough to know that, it might be risky if I didn't consult a medical person. I think that target group is what, this might be beneficial to. They are the ones that I think as we move on, will be making more and more use of it.
Upon a successful rollout in Ghana, developers of the Doctor app hope to explore its potential in other African countries.
Right now, we're projecting that in the next 15 years, we will have 100 million people on the platform, and that means that we have to expand into other African countries. And so the first expansion strategy is to do the West African sub-region, and then once we get that, we move into other sub-regions of the continent.
In Africa, more than any other place in the world, we can't afford to have a sick care system where people are always going to the hospital. It's very expensive. So we have to become very, very good at helping people take care of themselves from home. And that's empowering them to make the right decisions every single day. So the future for us, as you said, is extremely bright. And so I'll tell everybody, just watch out for us.
It's indeed a new day for healthcare delivery in Ghana. And if you're like me who doesn't like to visit the hospital often, this app could prove pretty useful. We'll leave it there and move on to our busy bits for tonight. You may have noticed them on your desktop and in folders. You might click on them to start programs and open files. They are icons that have a little arrow symbol in the lower left-hand corner. The purpose of a shortcut is to literally give you a shortcut to something on the computer. Just double-click on the shortcut and off you go. Time for our interview of the day, and many Ghanaian businesses do not place premium on advisory services towards transforming their operations. According to a consultant with the Africa Business Entrepreneurship, Amajampo, this is unduly affecting the growth of a number of small and medium enterprises in Ghana. In an interview with Joy Business, she lamented the lackadaisical attitude of affected enterprises to investing in such services, as also posing as a challenge to consultancy firms. Director of Operations for the Small Scale Miners Association, Emmanuel Yurenchi Entry, earlier shared some thoughts on News Desk.
Interview of the day.
There are various challenges in the system, obviously, but we're looking to overcome those and have strategies and tactics in place for them to ride the storms and maybe adjust the way that they operate to make them more efficient and able to.
What are some of the challenges you encounter in this business?
I think the attitude towards service providers. So a lot of local businesses don't typically understand the need to pay for advice and services, but they really need advice and services. So I think it's that's probably one of the main things as a consulting service provider to SMEs in particular. I think that's one challenge.
But don't you think it's because the service charges are too outrageous and that's why they are not able to, or they think there's no reason in paying that huge amount to get the advisory service?
I think it's relative, really. It depends on what you're getting from the service provider. And obviously, you need to agree these things up front. If there's an understanding of the value we are delivering to the client, then obviously there should be an agreement and everyone sticks to the agreement. We provide mentoring, coaching, training, one-to-one management services, and a network of service providers to assist entrepreneurs in Ghana to achieve their objectives and to grow. I mean, we're really about growth and we want to see one-man or small entrepreneurs actually grow into established businesses with systems and procedures to enable them to grow their businesses and raise funding eventually, of course, to continue to grow their businesses.
Interview of the day.
And there are plenty more business stories you can catch up on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can read about local contractors pushing for legislation on delayed payments. Of course, all the news bulletins you missed, we've got the videos for you. My name is Daryl Kwao. That'll be our show tonight.